Don't miss Gun Talk. Sundays live 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and an encore at 6 p.m. right here on NBC 1260.
The opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and are not meant to diagnose or treat any particular medical issue. Always check with your doctor or eye care professional before making any changes to your vision care. Now the talk continues on Entertaining Talk Radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. This is Healthy Eyes with Dr. C, live from the Best Buy studios at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM, every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. For many of us, our eyes are more than just a window to our world. They're part of how people perceive us, how we look, as well as how we see ourselves and others. There's so much more to healthy eyes than just their shape and color. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and find out how to keep your world in sharp focus for many years to come. Now, with Healthy Eyes, here is your host, Dr. C.
7 minutes after the hour at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. This is Healthy Eyes, live from the Best Buy studios. 480-423-1260 is the number to call to get in on the conversation if you'd like to talk about eye care. And welcome to the show remotely, Dr. C. How are you doing?
Fine, Mark. Thanks. How you doing?
Okay. Remember how you were complaining about the music that we had for your open? It was like a little too disco-ish. You didn't like it. Mics were open accidentally, and
I thought it was part of a mosh pit.
That's the new one that we were trying to replace it with, and that didn't happen either. So we thought that the festival music would be good for this particular show. Since
know if this was going to be Healthy Eyes or a Greek music show. I was hearing the bouzouki in the background. I thought I had the wrong number.
Getting ready for the Greek festival, and we talked about kind of some of the stuff that we do outside of the radio show together, and one is getting ready for a festival next weekend.
Yep. So we'll be out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
We've got a live remote plan, so if anybody wants to come down, actually everyone who calls into the show today will win a family pack as well as a party pack of free admissions to the Greek Festival next weekend. And
does that count for me too?
Absolutely. You got some friends to bring along?
Well, if they want to be down there about 8 o'clock in the morning with me.
Yeah, to help you, and then I know you actually sneak them in the back gate. Yeah. So, let's take a moment to just talk about the festival. What is it that happens there? By the way, during your show, one of our sponsors has given away actually a load of, if you will, for giveaway stuff. It's lens cleaning kits and all kinds of stuff. So, everybody who comes and actually visits us at the Greek Festival live will get free stuff to come home with.
Oh, is that from Kodak, from Sigma Armalite?
Yep. It is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
And we're going to put little logo things on the back of them so that reminds people when the show is on, the station, and all that kind of stuff. So making some cool little take-home kits out of that. And it'll be interesting. Everyone who calls in again at 480-423-1260 wins a dozen free admission tickets to get into the Greek Festival. Save $3 per person. So there's some little bit of value there. And feel free to bring some friends and have some fun. And did you want to talk about where that is and just a little bit of the background of the festival? And then we'll get into the actual real show here in a moment.
Tell everyone that we went down to the city of Tempe, down to Town Lake for a few years, but now we're back on the church grounds at just south of Elliott on Dobson, St. Catherine's Greek Orthodox Church. And when you get in there, we're going to have all kinds of Greek food. We'll have the gyros, we'll have the chicken dinners, lamb dinners. We have souvlaki, which is basically grilled pork on the shish kebab. We'll have the flaming cheese. We have the pastries, all the different pastries, the donut holes, the lukumades, the one you say so well.
Lukumatsa?
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. So if you like Greek food, it's all made by the ladies of the parish. It's great stuff. I mean, it's just some of the best Greek food you'll get.
How about that music?
Oh, the Grecian Express. Outside of the drummer, the great band. They've been playing for us for years. They're all part of our community, and they do a great job for us. But like I said, sometimes it's hard to get the drummer to keep quiet. But he's the mouthpiece for the festival, so I guess we'll let him talk that weekend.
Oh yeah, it's he tried to crash the show. I don't know if you remember. He was talking about coming down and actually sitting in your chair.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I'm surprised he's going to He'll be running the show here pretty soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, Derek had the security guys out front, which was pretty cool. That was really interesting.
So anyway, this is remote because I'm actually in Atlanta.
Yeah, so tell us why you're there.
I'm here for a conference. It's it's called an IDOC conference, the acronym IDOC for the Independent Doctors of Optometric Care, and it's a group of optometrists from around the country. It's probably about 1,500 members or so, and it's just a group that gets together, and we have a lot of educational events and do different things with purchasing as much as we can.
Did you speak at this conference, or did you attend this conference?
I attended the conference, even though I just got done. I spoke. I was on an expert panel at the last lecture I was in. We were talking about macular degeneration, and but other than that, I was not speaking at this one. So I was a participant because just so we can go on and just talk about something else as far as eye care goes. Any eye doctor you go to, whether it's an optometrist or an ophthalmologist, has to get continuing education. We have to keep current with what's going on in research and development and technology, and so and that's any doctor has to do that. Attorneys have to do that. Any professional typically has to get continuing education hours, and in Arizona we're required to get 32 hours every 2 years. Most get more than that. Just because any time a conference comes up and something you're interested in, you always want to, if it's not too expensive or too far away, you try and get the education that you can. So, so this one is, I've been here, I got here Thursday, and I'll be coming home tomorrow. But
so 15 minutes after the hour, this is NBC 1260. You're listening to Healthy Eyes. We are live from the Best Buy studios and remote somewhere on the East Coast. 480 Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's pretty east. Is it hot there?
No, it's been cloudy the whole time. It hasn't rained, but I'm out here looking out over. I'm staying at the Omni Hotel, and I'm looking out over Olympic Park. I didn't realize where I was until I started looking out here. I said, God, that looks familiar to me. And it's where they had the Olympics, where the bomb went off when they had the Olympics in Atlanta. And so it's a great view.
That's right near CNN, right?
Yeah, we're at the Towers right here.
I was there for E3, the electronic entertainment industry.
So if I went to CNN and told them I was on the radio, I was a radio celebrity, I'd probably get like the.
They'll give you the tour.
Yeah, they give me the tour for $5 like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. 16 minutes after the hour, 480-423-1260, the number to call if you'd like to get in on the conversation, win a 12-pack for you, your family, your friends, to the Greek Festival next weekend at, I wanted to say Tempe Town Lake, it's actually at Dobson and Elliott in Chandler, and that's going to be Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday all day, and there's all kinds of stuff there. Well, you heard the spot, hopefully. If not, hopefully you're going to hear it. It's airing on 9 radio stations in the Valley, including actually 10, 11, 12 radio stations in the Valley, and about 4 TV stations. It's in print. It's going to be in the Republic. Hopefully you'll be able to get some free tickets. If not, give us a call. We'll give them to you. 480-423-1260. We will be back with more of Healthy Eyes right after this.
Artistic Finesse Salon and Spa is located on the southeast corner of 7th Street and East Union Hills and offers an amazing team of stylists and trained salon specialists to assure you of a wonderful experience no matter what your spa and beauty needs. Services include hairstyling for both men and women, and children too. Artistic Finesse offers manicures, pedicures, nail art, massage therapy, facials, waxing, and other spa services in a comfortable, friendly atmosphere. Staffed by licensed and experienced professionals, each with their own specialty, there's no fear of getting anything but excellent service, and maybe never have a bad hair day ever again. Located at 731 East Union Hills Drive in the Bashas Shopping Center, Artistic Finesse is easy to get to. Walk-ins are welcome, but it's best to call ahead for an appointment. Call Patty at 602-923-6700 and make Artistic Finesse your take care of me place. Call 602-923-6700.
Hey Dan, how's it going? Great. Nice looking eyeglasses. Thanks. They look good and I can see clearer too. My doctor recommended these new digital lenses. He said that they're the latest in lens technology. It makes sense. Everything is going digital. There's my ride. See ya. Bye. Hey, what are those lenses called again? Kodak. Ask for Kodak lenses. Kodak, huh? That'll be easy to remember.
It's easy to remember to ask for Kodak lenses. There are a lot of Mexican food places in the valley, but only one La Casa Grill. La Casa Grill at 835 North Gilbert Road at the corner of Gilbert and Guadalupe in Gilbert features some of the finest specialty dishes in Arizona, from sizzling fajitas and grande quesadillas to enchiladas, slow-cooked barbecue, and burgers and racks of ribs. There's something delicious for one and all. They even have some of the best wings in the valley, available grilled or fried or both, just the way you like them. Visit La Casa Grill on the northeast corner of Gilbert and Guadalupe in the Gilbert Crossing Shopping Center, or call ahead for to-go orders or catering. Call 480-497-4140. That's 480-497-4140 for La Casa Grill.
La Casa Grill.
Hi, my name is Mark. Have you ever seen that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding? 25 years ago, I married my wife's entire family, and now my 17-year-old daughter is just discovering her Greek heritage.
Baba, take your keys back. Fill the car with gas. You'll be late for work in the morning.
Nice. Join us for a taste of Greece. It's time for our 29th annual Greek Food Festival. Friday, April 27th through Sunday, April 29th, back where it all began, at St. Catherine's Greek Orthodox Church at Dobson and Elliott in Chandler. There's great entertainment, live music from the Grecian Express, Greek wine and beer, and lots of food and fun for everyone, like Greek chicken, soufiniazzi, gyros, loukoumata, and all that stuff.
Baba, it's souvlaki, gyros, and loukoumades.
Yeah, those Greek donut holes are delicious.
Baba, let me take over before you hurt yourself for mamadas. So Elado, join us for a taste of Greece, April 27th through Sunday, April 29th, at Dobson and Elliott. Opa! What's wrong with you? You can't do it right. You can do it.
Now the talk continues, and you're just a phone call away on entertaining talk radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Welcome back to Healthy Eyes with Dr. C, every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. Arizona time. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and talk about your healthy eyes on the air. Once again, with Healthy Eyes, here's your host, Dr. C.
Hey, you want to do it? It's 21 minutes after.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, you want to do you want to do the thing when we come back from the commercial?
No.
Okay. 21 minutes after the hour. You're listening to NBC 1260. The next best thing to public access radio is on the air right now. You're tuned into it. This is Healthy Eyes. We are live from the Best Buy studios at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. If you'd like to get in on the conversation, have some fun with us, 480-423-1260, the number to call. We are giving away a dozen free tickets to the Greek Festival next week to everyone who calls in. So feel free, even if you don't want to get in on the show, we'll just give you the tickets. Actually, we will start taking calls after the show. That's what we'll do. Anybody who wants to call in after the show, we will give away tickets, so you don't have to be on the show if you don't want to. 480-423-1260 will be the number to call. And, welcome back to the show, Dr. C, Dr. John Chrisagis, and you have a guest with you.
Yes, I do. But before I get to that, I was just wondering, was that my mom who was on that commercial just now? It sure sounded like her yelling at me.
Oh, man.
But I guess not.
Was that actually your mom you're asking? Because of the end, at the end there?
The accent, yeah. But, not that my mom had an accent. She didn't, but still, Dr. Morgan was asking about that. But speaking of Dr. Morgan, he's been on the show with us before. He practices in Surprise, isn't it?
You have him with you now?
Peoria, Surprise. Pardon me?
You have him with you now? Oh, wow. Yeah. Isn't that funny? We keep inviting him to come into the studio, and we actually have to have him when he's in Atlanta come in on the show.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he's been in. He was
here once. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
He and Dr. Tolentino. But one of the things I was telling you about when we were talking about macular degeneration and things that are happening with research and things that are going on with that, the subject that we're going to talk about today and what was announced today was a patent that was just released on a lens that is going to help keep blue light out of the eyes. And so it's amazing technology. It's going to be out into the labs hopefully within the next few months. But I'm going to have I'll be having a conversation with Dr. Morgan, and we'll just talk about it. So we're going to try and keep you out of this for a while. We might get somewhere.
Oh, man, that hurt.
So, Dr. Morgan, can you tell us about this technology? Tell us about this lens.
Yeah, well, the lens is called BlueTech, and what it does is it blocks blue wavelength of light, which has been shown to be harmful to the macula. There's overwhelming evidence that blue light exposure, cumulative blue light exposure over our lifetime, is what can lead to macular degeneration later in life. So what this lens does is it blocks the harmful end of the spectrum, the blue end of the spectrum, while still allowing normal color perception. So if you think of the old blue blocker sunglasses, if you put those on, blues, especially navy blues, may have looked black, where with this new lens, it's just blocking the harmful effects without changing color perception. So this is a revolutionary lens. It's going to be available in a sun lens for outdoors, as well as an indoor lens, because what we have is an evolving, what we consider a blue light hazard, or indoor blue light hazard, because of all the fluorescent light bulbs that we're using in our homes and our offices now. We get blue wavelength light off of computer screens because they are backlit by fluorescent bulbs, and this cumulative exposure to blue light is what may predispose us for macular degeneration as we get older.
Yeah, so, Mark, if you think about it, we've been talking about that for a long time as far as ultraviolet exposure just with regular sunglasses, and then we talked about it a lot with our macular degeneration show and how UV exposure has been shown to be a trigger for macular degeneration and cataracts and all kinds of other things that we can attribute it to with the eyes. This lens, it's a normal-looking lens. It's not going to be like you're walking around with sunglasses on, but it's going to give us a level of protection that we've never had before.
That's absolutely amazing, because usually you expect those things to be tinted. Like when you buy the sunglasses at the drugstore that promise as seen on TV, and like you guys were talking about, you believe, I mean, those kind of look is it auburn? Is that the right color? No, it's kind of yellowish kind of tint.
Well, it's actually, the blue blockers, the traditional blue blockers, were almost like an orangish amber color. I'm looking at a pair right now because Dr. Morgan's wearing a pair, and the clear pair for inside actually has a little bit of it's not much, but it's a little bit of an orangish, yellowish tint to it, but it's definitely not anything like the blue blockers used to be. It's not like wearing sunglasses indoors. But just to talk about it a little bit further with Dr. Morgan, these lenses, how old is the patent?
As far as the age of the patent, I'm not sure, but they've just gotten worldwide distribution rights through a company called Eye Solutions that also distributes the carotenoid vitamin that protects our macula internally from blue light damage. So now we're going to have an external protective mechanism in these lenses. And in regards to color, the sun lenses will be available both in a gray or brown color. The indoor lenses currently are going to have this very mild brown tint to them, but it's really visually pleasing to look through when you're wearing the lens. As far as the benefit of this lens, when we think of, say, safety glasses, historically, if somebody worked in industry, if they went into a factory, they may be required to wear safety glasses to protect themselves from getting a piece of metal or something in their eye. Well, nowadays, where most of our workers are in offices that we have fluorescent lights overhead, and we're looking at a computer screen all day long. So again, we're predisposing ourselves to developing macular degeneration, which is really going to reach epidemic proportions in the next 10 to 15 years. And really, the healthcare system overall is not prepared for this oncoming epidemic of disease. And if we look at any other epidemic, what can we do to try and stem the tide? And that's prevention. So that's really what this lens is about, so that we can think of these lenses as safety glasses for when we go to work. I can envision that, just as you wouldn't be allowed into a factory without your safety glasses on, you may not be allowed into the office without your blue blocking lenses on for safety concerns.
What would be an environment that has excessive blue light that you would have to wear something like that in a protective kind of situation?
Well, again, it's cumulative blue light exposure over our lifetime, and we're surrounded by blue light. If you step outside, the sky is blue.
The sky is blue, right.
when we look at indoor lighting, traditionally we've had incandescent light bulbs, which had a very low blue spectral emittance. But those have been legislated away due to their energy consumption, kind of the greening of America. Yeah. Well, with the replacement bulbs, fluorescent lights and little CFL curlicue bulbs that we now put in our lamps, those have a very high blue spectral emission. So, we're greening America, which would be fine if we were replacing it with green wavelength light, but we're not. We're replacing it with blue, and that's really what's leading to the problem.
Are you guys familiar with the bulbs that they sell that are supposed to make things look clearer, and they essentially...
Full spectrum lighting.
Yeah. I think that there's a brand name for one that's available at, like, hardware stores and discount stores and big box stores that you're supposed to kind of see better, and it kind of makes things appear a little bluer or a little more natural light. I don't know if it's the full spectrum lighting or not.
You might be. I can't remember the name of the one you might be talking about, but I was bringing up full spectrum lighting because there are bulbs out there that just emit a normal, a normal distribution across the wavelengths of light, and it's a bright bulb. It's a very clean. It's a very white type of light, but those are pretty expensive. So it's probably not what you were talking about. But,
yeah, it's the bulbs are like about $6 a piece.
Yeah.
That's kind of expensive.
And now that, as Dr. Morgan was saying, as they legislate out the fluorescent bulbs, now the greening of America is now possibly creating a blue light hazard.
Interesting.
And so, anything we can do, especially if there's a genetic predisposition to it, anything we can do to reduce the amount of UV coming into the eye is going to be very important, especially, as I said, for people that are susceptible to it.
Absolutely.
Let's make a distinction here between UV and blue light. UV light is a shorter wavelength. It's going to be below 380 nanometers. That's where violet will start. And then blue light is going to be at about 470 nanometers. Green is at 500. So if we think of wavelengths of light, the shorter the wavelength, the higher the energy and the more damage it can cause. So longer wavelengths of light, like red, those have very low damaging wavelengths. That's why we can't talk on our cell phone in an elevator. Now, when we talk about the eye, UV light can cause skin cancers of our eyelids. It can cause cataract. But UV is going to be, is not really the driving force behind macular degeneration. It's the blue end of the spectrum. So while we have a lot of lenses historically that have protected us against UV light, we have never had a lens that was specifically targeting blue light as well as UV light. So these lenses are for protecting against blue light, which again is the driver behind oxidative damage that can lead to the disease as we get older.
31 minutes after the hour, when we get back, I'm going to ask the question, how can somebody kind of patent something that appears to be, and I don't want to kind of make this kind of something of less value than it is, but to a layman, and that's the role I play on this show, it seems like somebody invented something that tints to keep out light and does it effectively and patented that. So I'm going to ask that question when we get back. 29 minutes till the top of the hour. This is Healthy Eyes on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. We are live from the Best Buy studios. Write down this number. It's going to be the number you can call to get a party pack to the Greek Festival next weekend. 480-423-1260 for a dozen admission tickets. We will be back with more of Healthy Eyes right after this.
My wedding is one of the most important events in my life. My Uncle Tony wants to videotape it with his new HD camcorder he keeps telling me about. But to me, my wedding video is like what my ma's wedding album is to her. I want it to be the best, and I want to watch it and remember it together with my husband for the rest of our lives. I want to trust my wedding video to Michael at Post Productions.
With an investment of thousands of dollars in professional video equipment, Michael helps communicate your feelings by understanding how you want your video to look, how you want to feel when you watch it, and how special this video is to you.
By calling Michael at Post Productions to do my wedding video, I know Michael is making my dream day something I'll remember forever, again and again. And thank you, Uncle Tony. I'll always treasure your video, too.
That's Michael Miller at Post Productions, 480-862-2017, or visit www.post-productions.com. Remember, together for a lifetime. The doctors and staff of Tempe Eyecare Associates at 7511 South McClintock Drive in Tempe are committed to providing you state-of-the-art eye care services and products in a comfortable and friendly atmosphere. Remember the Bionic Man? We're not quite there yet, but we're not as far away as you might think. Through annual comprehensive eye examinations, the goal at Tempe Eyecare Associates is to not only maximize your visual performance, but to ensure and maintain your healthy eyes. As part of your annual examination, your visual acuity will be measured and a test known as refraction is conducted to determine your eye's refractive power. Further tests are performed to determine your visual coordination, muscle control, and focusing abilities. Your examination will include a comprehensive evaluation of your eye health to detect diseases such as glaucoma, cataracts, and retina and optic nerve abnormalities. The ocular health evaluation includes neurological assessments, measurement of internal eye pressure, and a thorough examination of the internal and external structures of the eye. Tempe Eyecare Associates also offers the OptoMap Retinal Examination System. OptoMap allows many patients the option to forego dilating drops by providing an ultra-wide view of the retina. While it doesn't replace dilation in all patients, it's an option for many. After performing these tests, their doctors will discuss your results and, if needed, explain your prescription and give you a better understanding of your overall eye health. Traditional options such as glasses, contact lenses, and eye medications will be discussed, as well as any other options you may need to consider. Dr. C is available to assist you personally, so you know you're getting the best available eye care, even if you're not on the Valley's basketball, baseball, hockey, or football teams. You'll see better after you see Dr. C.
Now the talk continues, and you're just a phone call away on Entertaining Talk Radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Welcome back to Healthy Eyes with Dr. C, every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. Arizona time. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and talk about your healthy eyes on the air. Once again, with Healthy Eyes, here's your host, Dr. C.
Holly Spada, 36 minutes after the hour at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. We are live from the Best Buy studios. This is Healthy Eyes. Dr. C is on location. And Dr. C, reintroduce your guest.
Dr. Gary Morgan from Eye-Tech Eye Associates in Peoria. He's with me here in Atlanta, and we're just learning about all kinds of new stuff. And we're just talking about the Blue Tech lenses that were just announced as far as the distribution rights have been granted, and they want to start getting these out to people so they can start wearing them. That's what we've been discussing.
Dr. Morgan, what makes these unique? How can these be patented, and what makes them different than just tinting?
Well, our eye contains a couple of protective mechanisms against blue light. One of them is what's called our ocular melanin, and that's found in our iris, as well as in the back of the eye in the lower levels of the retina. And it serves to a function of, in our iris, the more melanin we have, the less blue light is going to penetrate the iris to get back into the macula where it can cause its damage. But on the inside of the eye, melanin, if we have a lot of melanin, it kind of acts like the black coating on the inside of a camera. It's going to reduce light scatter, which in effect is going to reduce glare. Now, the other component of the lens is what's called ocular lens pigment. When we're young, when we're kids, we really don't have much ocular lens pigment, but we have a lot of melanin. Well, as we get older, our lens starts to harden, and in older age, we get a cataract. And as that happens, we increase our ocular lens pigment. So those two mechanisms are what can naturally protect the eye against this blue light damage. So what this lens has in it is both ocular melanin and ocular lens pigment that's been synthetically created and put into the material of the lens to block the blue light. So you can actually think of this as like nature's sunglasses.
Ah, okay.
So that's the patented material within the lens.
So this is also going to be available in frames, or is this just in contacts?
No. Yeah, we're talking about glasses lenses now. Yeah,
okay.
We're strictly talking about glasses lenses at this point, although it will be interesting to see if over time that this technology is carried forward into contact lenses as well.
Okay. Well, that'd be interesting.
That's what makes this such a revolutionary item. If this indeed does take off the way we think it's going to take off, and people use it the way it should be used, you could put it in your regular glasses, you can put it in your sunglasses, because as Dr. Morgan said, it could be gray, it could be brown, and it'll be polarized. It'll make a great pair of sunglasses. And so, this is probably the biggest change we've had or not change, but the biggest product development we've had in lenses in a long time. Probably since the latest transition as far as photochromics, when photochromics first started. It could be huge.
Is this something that is similar to that technology in that the level of protection changes based on the amount of light coming in?
Well, it actually, that's an interesting question. The melanin and the OLP within the lens are going to be constant, so you're always going to be protected against the blue light as well as the UV light. Now, as far as the lenses that change color, they are activated by UV light that makes the lens get darker when you go outside, clear when you come inside. But that's also the reason why those lenses don't get dark in the car, because glass blocks UV. So unless you're in a convertible, your transition lens lights up in a car. Well, that same photochromic material, though, can be incorporated into the melanin OLP lens. So for those that do like the lenses that darken and lighten indoors and outdoors, there will be a lens available that it has the photochromic capability built in with the melanin and the OLP. So you'll get the best of both worlds.
So when something like this comes out and it's a new technology, usually it's fairly expensive, and sometimes it's limited in terms of its distribution. How soon do you think we will see that maybe in Arizona, or will, like Dr. C, be sharing that in a prescription with patients?
I think we'll be seeing an initial rollout of the lenses in June. That's the prediction. So hopefully, we'll have this in some select practices in Arizona very soon. As far as the cost of the lens, it's really not going to be any more expensive than, say, the add-on cost for having the transitions color-changing lenses put into your glasses. So it's going to be affordable for most everybody.
Is this something that would possibly be covered by insurance if you could show that either there was prior damage and that you wanted to stop any additional damage, or is that something that could potentially be justified for insurance to help or subsidize? Or?
Well, when we talk about insurance coverages for lenses, that's traditionally fallen under vision care plans, like VSP or, an iMed type of vision plan. And I do believe that contact has already been made with some of the vision plans as far as putting the proper codes in place for patients to be able to use their vision plan to get these lenses.
So the cost isn't going to wind up being an issue. It potentially would be covered by an insurance policy. And
even if it wasn't, because there are two parts to that question as I see it. One would be, will insurance cover it because it's going to be medically necessary if you have a genetic predisposition to it, or do you already have some damage? That would be one thing. The other thing is if the insurance companies would make it a covered benefit, or a benefit that they're going to help subsidize. Like right now, if you have insurance, you can get transitions, and it doesn't cost as much as it would if you didn't have insurance. Or you can get this coating or that coating, and your insurance company has worked for you to get less of a cost on those. So we believe that this lens will be a lens that hopefully VSP will, they're one of the biggest ones in the country. VSP will have on their list of options that you can get at a reduced price. And so those are two different things. And I believe the second one's going to happen for sure, where VSP is going to have it. Whether insurance companies are going to pick it up, insurance companies, until they have to pick something up, they won't.
So on the political, you bring up a good issue. On the political side of this, and I guess medical industry versus insurance industry, what makes this something that can be justified as a preventative care, something that would qualify as preventative care as opposed to something that's a necessity?
It's huge. Again, with all the literature that we're seeing and all the research that we're seeing with the UV and the blue light, there's overwhelming evidence that it causes it. But now whether insurance companies would pay to put that in a lens, that's a whole different story.
So it's interesting because transitions is a fantastic technology, and it's come a long way over time. And we even talked about what the next potential technological advance in the future might be for that. It seems that as technology goes by and things become not only more affordable but more commonplace, we see wider distribution, and we also see more interest in taking care of our eyes and taking care of health in general. And I think that maybe this particular generation of folks, and even the younger folks, for the first time have kind of taken their health overall a lot more seriously than maybe generations past. Would you guys agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that. I think a perfect example of that is our senior population that we have now. Both Dr. Chrisagis and I have done speaking in front of groups of senior citizens in retirement type communities, and when they come to hear a talk about AMD, a lot of them are coming hoping that they're going to hear about maybe some type of miracle cure. And I'll look out into the audience and I can say, folks, I can tell that most of you are here to find out if there's something that can help you. And unfortunately, currently there's really not anything I can do to bring your vision back. However, we know that macular degeneration is a genetic disease, and you all have families. And the best thing that you can do right now is to go out in your community and educate your family and educate your friends on the importance of protecting your eyes when you're young, so that we can stop this disease from having such a major impact on society. People with vision loss, when we look at the statistics, they fall twice as often, they have 4 times as many hip fractures, they're on average admitted to nursing homes 3 years earlier, and they die 2 years earlier. And the cost, annually for folks that have vision loss, when they have all these other related health problems, is huge. When we talk about, the healthcare debate going on in Washington right now, we're talking about nickels and dimes compared to what's coming in the future, and a lot of this is related to our vision. So, yeah, it really makes sense to start taking care of our eyes now to try and prevent, these problems both physically, emotionally, financially for our society 20 years from now.
15.
And Mark,
yeah, go ahead.
Dovetail off that real quick, because you mentioned the younger generation now, and a lot of the younger generations now are more into prevention, more into, eating right, taking care of themselves now because of things that could do to you later. So this could dovetail right into that, to where, it could be the very first lens we prescribe for medical reasons, which would be something we've never had to do, or we've never done, which is amazing.
And that potentially could reach into prescribing or kind of finding these things out while kids are still in school and being screened, like when we were kids, we used to be screened.
Well, possibly, yeah. Even though we would never see any of this stuff in a youngster, because the macular pigment's there and everything else. But obviously, the preventative aspect is the important part for when they do get older. 14
minutes till the top of the hour. You're listening to Healthy Eyes on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM, live from the Best Buy studios. 480-423-1260 will be the number to call right after the show, so that you can win a 12-pack, a party pack of festival tickets to the Greek Festival coming up next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it will be at Dobson and Elliott in Tempe. I'm sorry, in Chandler. Dobson and Elliott in Chandler. Hopefully we'll see you there. We will be broadcasting live and giving out free lens cleaning kits to everyone, at least while they last, and we have hundreds of them, so we do hope that you'll be there. There's a great chance you'll wind up walking away with free gifts and stuff. And if you call in after the show, 480-423-1260, we'll give a dozen tickets to everyone who calls in, so you can bring your family and your friends. You're listening to Healthy Eyes. We will be back with more of Healthy Eyes right after this.
Transitions Optical is dedicated to promoting healthy sight worldwide. Transitions lenses do more than correct and protect vision. They enhance the way you see everyday life. By adapting to changing light conditions, they bring out the best in all that you see, so life looks more vivid, more vibrant, more true. Transitions lenses are the #1 photochromic lenses recommended by eye care professionals worldwide. Protect your eyes and learn more about Transitions lenses by visiting your eye doctor or transitions.com.
My wedding is one of the most important events in my life. My Uncle Tony wants to videotape it with his new HD camcorder he keeps telling me about. But to me, my wedding video is like what my ma's wedding album is to her. I want it to be the best, and I want to watch it and remember it together with my husband for the rest of our lives. I want to trust my wedding video to Michael at Post Productions.
With an investment of thousands of dollars in professional video equipment, Michael helps communicate your feelings by understanding how you want your video to look, how you want to feel when you watch it, and how special this video is to you.
By calling Michael at Post Productions to do my wedding video, I know Michael is making my dream day something I'll remember forever, again and again. And thank you, Uncle Tony. I'll always treasure your video too.
That's Michael Miller at Post Productions, 480-862-2017, or visit www.post-productions.com. Remember, together for a lifetime.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
And that's how we get a prescription. But the dilation adds another effect to it. We need to do what we call a cycloplegic exam because we're cyclopleging the eyes and making it so the accommodative system isn't working.
Is that what happens when you lick a frog?
When you what?
You get a cycloplegic...
Where does he come up with it? He doesn't know what to do.
I was just reading about these guys who lick a frog and then their eyes suddenly get dilated, and I thought everybody knew about licking the frog.
Well, now that you mentioned, I did read something about that at some point in time, but that wasn't coming to me just a second ago when you mentioned that. I was getting worried about you, Mark.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
Hi, my name is Mark. Have you ever seen that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding? 25 years ago, I married my wife's entire family, and now my 17-year-old daughter is just discovering her Greek heritage.
Baba, take your keys back. Fill the car with gas. You'll be late for work in the morning.
Nice. Join us for a taste of Greece. It's time for our 29th annual Greek Food Festival. Friday, April 27th through Sunday, April 29th, back where it all began, at St. Catherine's Greek Orthodox Church at Dobson and Elliott in Chandler. There's great entertainment, live music from the Grecian Express, Greek wine and beer, and lots of food and fun for everyone, like Greek chicken, soufiniazzi, gyros, loukoumata, and all that stuff.
Baba, it's souvlaki, gyros, and loukoumades.
Yeah, those Greek donut holes are delicious.
Baba, let me take over before you hurt yourself or mamadas. So έλα εδώ, join us for a taste of Greece, April 27th through Sunday, April 29th, at Dobson and Elliott. Opa! What's wrong with you? You can do it right, you can do it.
Now the talk continues, and you're just a phone call away on entertaining talk radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Welcome back to Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. Arizona time. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and talk about your healthy eyes on the air. Once again, with Healthy Eyes, here's your host, Dr. C.
8 minutes till the top of the hour at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM, 480-423-1260, the number to call to get free tickets to the Greek Festival next weekend. And Dr. C, talk about, for a moment, we're going to be at the Greek Festival. We're going to be doing live remote there. And what are some of the things people have to watch out for regarding just being out in the sun, besides for sunburn and stuff, as it relates to protection of the eyes?
Well, as we've talked about numerous times, wearing good protective sunglasses is important. Obviously, we always talk about the ultraviolet. Now we're talking about the high energy blue light. But one of the worst things you can do is wear a sunglass that is not an ophthalmic quality lens. You're actually doing your eyes more harm than good because your pupils are going to dilate under the dark lens. So I'm not telling everyone they need to go out and buy a $200 pair of sunglasses, but typically, the more expensive they are, the more protection you have and the better quality of lenses that go into them, whether it be a a cane in the Maui gym or any of those compared to just something you can buy at Circle K. And that's very, very important, especially, we're supposed to hit 100 degrees this weekend, huh?
Yeah.
So we definitely have the exposure out there, and they should wear something to cover their heads, and they should wear something to cover their eyes, because it's just as important.
So what's the result of somebody going out there and, let's say, not just visiting, but potentially working a booth, not having sunglasses? What kind of damage could there be just being outside in Arizona for a day? What does that potentially do to the eyes if you don't have sunglasses or something?
I'm going to let Dr. Morgan earn his keep today, so I'm going to let him take that one.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. Appreciate you being on the show also.
Sure. Well, just when we talk about sun exposure for a day or acute UV exposure, things that can happen is we can have, just like we can get a sunburn on our skin, we might get a sunburn on the surface of our eye, so we can have a gritty, uncomfortable feeling eye from that. If we look directly into the sun or, trying to look at an eclipse, we could damage our retina, which could cause, permanent type of damage. But again, those short amounts of UV exposure, while they can cause burns or which can, and if you stare right at the sun, it could potentially damage things. What we're really talking about is long-term exposure to sunlight. In fact, a study was done that looked at just that. And what they did is they looked at folks between their early teens and early 30s. And one group of the subjects only had about 2 hours a day of sun exposure. The other group had 5 hours a day of sun exposure. And the difference was those that had that 3 additional hours of sun exposure each day, on average, developed macular degeneration 10 years earlier. And when we talk about developing macular degeneration 10 years earlier in life, that raised their chances of going blind within their lifetime by 50%. So again, by protecting our eyes from UV light, but more importantly for macular degeneration, blue wavelength light, it's the cumulative exposure that really counts. So, we always want to have our blue protecting lenses on when we're outdoors.
How do you measure the cumulative blue light over a period of time that somebody has accrued? I mean, it's not like we carry little meters around, or we have something that we can kind of regulate or take a look at ourselves. Is that something that our eye care professional can see and measure and give us an idea of where we are with that?
Well, again, when we look at blue light exposure, if you walk outside, there's blue energy light within the atmosphere. Indoors, again, looking at the study, this was a retrospective study that was done. Well, 50 years ago, most of our light bulbs indoors were, or they all were essentially incandescent, and fluorescence came on later on. I don't know the exact year of fluorescent lights, but most of us had incandescent lights in our homes. So that's why they looked at sunlight exposure. So, that's where this thought of cumulative blue light exposure, they're looking at, okay, so if we look at somebody that's, maybe in their 60s or 70s or 80s now, where were they most likely to get blue light? It's going to be outdoors. So that's when they started looking at, what type of time did these people spend outdoors? And they used history questionnaires versus, data on where they lived and how much sunlight was present during those times, and that's where they came up with this data.
Yeah, they didn't give them meters to walk around. I mean, it's a good question, but yeah, they didn't give them meters to walk around with to try and find out how much UV exposure they had. It was, but that's we talked about too at one point in time. Golfers, whether they be professional golfers or amateur golfers that don't want to wear sunglasses because they feel it ruins their perception when they're golfing, but they spend a lot of time out in the sun. And that's someone you would say has a cumulative amount of blue light and UV exposure because they're out there all the time practicing and playing. And if anything, they should possibly at least wear their sunglasses between holes or when they're not making a shot, because at least they'll get some protection that way. But that's someone commonly, or a tennis player that's always out in the sun practicing. Anyone who spends a lot of time outside is going to have that cumulative effect. And it's the long-term cumulative effect that we're trying to keep them from.
If there's one thing that you guys could share right now for someone who's listening and is kind of something that they could use and take away, is it protect your eyes with sunglasses? What's the single most important thing you could do right now as it starts to get warmer and we start to spend more time outside in the sunlight?
I think, with the technology that we have today, yes, wear a good quality UV protective sunglasses, Dr. Chrisagis mentioned. As the technology improves and these blue filtering lenses become more readily available, I think that we'll see the major sunglass manufacturers including this type of technology within their lenses. So when that becomes available, obviously as technology changes, then folks ought to change with the technology. We don't use vinyl records anymore. Well, I guess vinyl we do to a little bit, but we don't use 8-track tapes. We don't use cassettes. We look at CDs. Even those are starting to go away. Everything is becoming digital downloads for music. So technology is changing. And I think that we need to change with the technology in order to better our lives.
Sounds good. Dr. Morgan, how do we get a hold of you if someone has questions or would like to potentially visit you at your office?
Sure. Our office is located at 91st Avenue in Union Hills. Our website is itecheyes.com, and the phone number is 623-933-6586.
Or if anyone needs to get a hold of them, they can always contact me. It's the normal way we do things, or call the station, and I can definitely put you in touch with Dr. Morgan.
Okay, and then how do we get a hold of you, Dr. C? The website and the phone number?
Well, just listen to me on the radio. No,
sure.
Phone number is 480-967-4910, and the website is Tempe Eyecare Associates.com, or as I always say, drsee.com. drsee.com. Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. We will see you again next week on Healthy Eyes, live from the Greek Festival at Dobson and Elliott in Chandler. Thanks, Mark.
NBC 1260 is KBSZ, Apache Junction. Also operates on translator K241BQ at 96.1 FM.